He ruined my dream journal! I did not! Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today I am bringing you guys a interesting scenario where we are going to be talking about if Chozen killed Daniel. I was actually going to make a short version of this, but I decided to say why not and just make a full-blown video on this topic, as the topic itself is pretty interesting. If there are any Cobra Kai suggestions that you guys want me to do in the near future, or videos that you would like to suggest, be sure to comment them down below, as I do read your comments and I would like to see your suggestions. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into the video, and I hope you guys do enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like I'm Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, he's coming over. Yeah, we respect.
Okay, so in order for this scenario to happen, I don't think we can just say Chozen is just going to willingly kill Daniel, as this Chozen is specifically a Chozen that went through a positive character arc. So I think in order for this to actually sensibly happen, we need Chozen to go through a different arc. Instead of going through a positive character arc, we are going to be having Chozen feel disrespected at the finale of Karate Kid 2, basically thinking that Daniel did this to personally humiliate him and just make him live in shame and disrespect, which arguably could be worse than death. So Chozen is now misrepresenting what Daniel was trying to tell him in Karate Kid 2, and thinks that this was just Daniel's own, little personal way to say how Chozen is just trash, weak, incompetent, and really not even challenge for Daniel, which would definitely piss off Chozen, as he is a character that constantly demands respect, and he believes respect is a, important thing. But when he feels disrespected, he thinks it's unforgivable. And so instead of having a positive character arc and actually changing as a human being, he's going to be worse than his kid self and is going to be training every day, and the second he and Daniel meet eyes again, it's going to be over for him. He would train harder than ever, even harder than his canon self, and he would probably be slightly stronger by the end of things, and he would still train in the secrets of Miyagi-Do and still becoming the strongest in Cobra Kai at this point. Now the rest of Chozen and Daniel's interactions in Season 3 when Daniel arrives to Okinawa would essentially be the same, and when Chozen and Daniel spar once again, and Chozen has Daniel in a position where he can finally finish him off, Chozen would say how he's been waiting a long time for this, as Daniel would then try and scream out for Chozen to stop and think about what he's doing, and Chozen would then say how he's already made up his mind, and he would proceed to deal the finishing blow, ending Daniel LaRusso's life. Now, the LaRussos, or really anyone that is currently in Cobra Kai, the main cast, they're not going to be aware of Daniel's death just yet, and I'll get to it when the time comes, but for now, they just know that Daniel is off on a business trip, and it's taking longer than usual for him to return. Now, here are a lot of things that are going to be changing for the story. Sam is never going to get over her fear, or never going to get encouragement from her dad about conquering her fear. Also, not to mention, Daniel's not going to be able to train Miyagi-Do while he's gone, but rather Sam is probably just going to be training the class like in canon. Now, everything that's disregarding Daniel, which leads into, Johnny and Eagle Fang and the unappeal of the Band of the All Valley, all that is essentially the same, as Miguel carried the unappeal, and everything else I briefly mentioned has nothing to do with Daniel. However, I think as the series is going on, we get Amanda being a little bit more stressed about Daniel than usual, and she's feeling that something bad might have happened. Sam would then calm her mom down, saying not to worry, as Daniel can take care of himself. He's a martial artist. He'll be fine. He'll be alright. And with that being said, Amanda then calms down, and we would continue with the story progressing. Also, since Miguel can't meet Daniel, we would just have Miguel just talking to Sam about meeting Daniel, and after that happens, they can actually move forward with their relationship. Robbie is still going to see this and still going to be enraged, which would lead into him going to Cobra Kai, as he has nowhere else to go, and this would still lead into Robbie showing up Hawk, and Hawk still being conflicted about, staying in Cobra Kai. Now, everything with Johnny and Allie would be the same, and they would attend the party, and Amanda would be there, but the only thing is that Daniel is not present, as, he's dead. So this means Johnny and Daniel never patched things up about Karate Kid 1, and really the entire beef they've been having since, the beginning of this whole series. And I'm not talking about Cobra Kai, I'm talking about Karate Kid 1. They would never solve their past issues, and this would lead into Johnny and Allie still going out on the front, and Allie and Johnny, talking about the future, and Johnny still gets the similar arc that he still got in Season 3, which would lead into him arriving home, and he would see Miguel being injured, and this would lead into him going into Cobra Kai. Now, before we get into that part of the fight, I want to briefly cover sections of the house fight. Now, Hawk would still turn good, but as for Tori versus Sam, Tori's going to be just brutally beating up Sam as she's terrified. However, Miguel, Hawk, and Dimitri would just 3v1 Tori and force her to retreat, which would inevitably kind of lead into a W for Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do, but then again, Sam kind of got bodied here. And yes, I still think Hawk would go through the exact same arc as in canon, as Daniel didn't really affect that, and so this means Hawk is now on the good side. Now, we are now going to be covering the final section of the video, which is Johnny versus Kreese. Now, we have to understand, guys, that Daniel specifically saved Johnny in the fight against Kreese because, you know, Johnny had to go fight Robbie. He tried to make sure he was okay. Then Kreese caught him off guard and would have damn near killed Johnny had it not been for Daniel's intervention. Now, here, Daniel's not present as, you know, he's not even alive and is not even in the same state as Johnny and Kreese right now, so it's going to be a little awkward for Johnny to get out of this predicament. So there are a few scenarios that I think could happen. We can either say Johnny overpowers him, which just leads into Johnny beating up Kreese, and we get a very similar ending to in canon, and I would assume this is kind of the good ending, and this would lead into Johnny teaching not only Miyagi-Do, but also Eagle Fang. Or we could have the second scenario, which is Miguel or Sam maybe coming in earlier to try and save him, and the three of them, I guess, maybe 3v1 Kreese, which this scenario is definitely the least likely to happen because we already saw in canon Sam and Miguel came way later on. And the third and final option is the bad ending, which is Johnny dies. Kreese knows there's not enough time for him and Robbie to get out of there, so he just decides to leave for himself for his own sake, and this would lead into Robbie waking up, and as he wakes up, this would lead into Miguel and Sam arriving to Cobra Kai and seeing Johnny's body. Although the three of them in a room would lead into Robbie trying to beat them up and Sam trying to stop them both, but here I think Miguel and Robbie would just put the rivalry aside for this time and would try and hope that Johnny's alive, but they realize that it's too late. Robbie doesn't get why Kreese did this, which would lead into him just leaving Cobra Kai outright, and Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang deciding to just try and pick up where they left off. Also, Amanda would be breaking down as well when Sam comes home, and Sam would then ask what's wrong. Kumiko just called Amanda and announced Daniel as dead, and this is where we are going to be leaving the story off for right now. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new, as that is greatly appreciated, and hit the bell icon, that way you are notified and updated when I upload. Share with your friends, share with your grandma, and comment down below any Cobra Kai videos you would like me to do in the nearby future. My name is Tyler again, and be sure to go and follow me on Twitter. That will be linked in the description as well. Peace out, everyone. Have a nice rest of the day.